welcome to day 3 of 31 days of Halloween. Today's video is on this gangster clown look, which is of course inspired by Crispy, also inspired by Stephanie Absher. I will link both of their Instagrams down below. And so if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Alright guys, so to start off, we are going to be using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Hydrating Primer. This is just to prime and moisturize our face. And then I'm going to go in with the Benefit Professional just to minimize the pores around my nose and cheek area. Next, taking my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light Medium Honey, I'm going to use this to prime my eyes and diminish any veins or redness that we have going on there. And then next, using my Urban Decay Primer Potion, I'm going to use that as well to prime my eyes for the eyeshadow. This isn't super necessary, but I always use 2 steps. And then I set it with a translucent setting powder, and this just makes the shadows in the crease easier to blend out. So of course, taking my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, I'm taking the shade Silk Cream, and this is going to be our transition shade. So this just helps blow everything out and give it that nice gradient look. So this one will be brought up the highest, and I just keep building this up to the intensity that I like. So next, taking the shade Butter, this is just a little bit darker and a little bit warmer than the last shade, and we are going to focus this a little bit lower down than the last shade, keeping it in the crease and just below that transition shade. Next, taking the color Creamsicle, and this is just to warm everything up, and I'm just going to go over the shade that we just placed down. Next, taking Roxanne, which is this warm, reddy, orangey shade, and I'm keeping this in the outer portion of my crease, so from about the outer corner to the middle of the eye, and I pack this on where I want it, and then I go back in with a blending brush and blend it all out. So again, taking our Tarte Shape Tape, I'm going to cut the crease, so I'm just using a small flat definer brush, and this is obviously sped up, so take your time doing this part. There's no rush at all, and it helps really make a nice precise line. So next, taking the shade Quin, which is I would say warm toned gold shade, and I'm going to pack this on the inner half of my eyelid. So taking Hustle, I'm just going to pack this on the middle of the eyelid. Next, taking this matte brown shade, Central Park, I'm going to place this on the outer third of my eye, just packing it on with a flat brush. And then I go back in with a small definer blending brush and just very gently pack this in the very outer V of the crease. And then taking the shade Meeks, I'm going to pack this over most of the gold shade from before. I just thought the eye look was a little bit too light. So of course, taking my 2 favorite foundations. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow and Pro Matte, and I mix these as always, and I'm just going to apply this all over my face. Of course, using my beauty blender to blend that out, making sure that I take it down my neck as well. So yet again, taking my Tarte Shape Tape, I love this stuff if you haven't noticed, I'm going to apply this on my face, so underneath my eyes, and then I blend this out just because I find that it sets pretty quickly, so I like to do it in stages. And then I'm going to apply it around my nose where there's a little bit of redness, down the center of my nose to highlight, center of my forehead, center of my chin, and then to my Cupid's bow. So then I'm going to take my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Powder Foundation and just set my liquid foundation with that. And this just also gives you a little bit more coverage. And now I'm going to take my very, very sad Nars Laguna bronzer that's like basically done, but you know, we gotta use it to the last drop. And I'm just going to bronze off my face, so the typical cheekbones, temple, and then your forehead. So next, taking my Stila Stay All Day Liquid Waterproof Liner. I don't think I got that in the right order, but that's fine. We're going to create a wing, just a pretty average size wing, nothing too crazy. So we're going to go back in with the crease shades that we used on our lower lash line. So first taking Silk Cream, and I blend this quite far down. And then I'm going to mix creamsicle and butter together and apply this over top. And then we're going to take Roxanne, and we're going to apply this quite close to the lash line. I know I use a bajillion different shadows on my lower lash line, but it's like my favorite part. So then we're going to take that matte brown shade and pack it on the lash line. And we are going to take a matte black shade and pack that on the outer half of the eye, just on the lash line. So next, just taking a black pencil liner. I'm using the Makeup Forever black pencil liner, and line your waterline. And then taking the black shade again from the Jaclyn Hill palette, I'm just going to apply this in the outer V. So I'm connecting the outer wing of the eye and just bringing it up slightly into the outer corner, taking a clean fluffy brush and blending that out. So next, taking my Mehron water activated paint, I'm going to be using the black shade, and it's easiest just to kind of see what I'm doing for this shape. It almost looks like a butterfly. I just added a bunch of twists and turns. I followed some tattoo inspiration as well as Stephanie's piece. And again, this is sped up, so just take your time, kind of see how it flows. I liked adding the curly pieces and then the little branched pieces off of it, and I feel like it all just brought it together. And then adding those lighter, smaller curls in the middle really brought it all together as well. So next we're going to do the classic little diamonds underneath the clown's eyes. So I'm going to do one on top and then one on the bottom as well. The bottom one is quite a bit larger than the top one, of course. And just try and line them up as best as I can. So next, taking the end of the brush, I just made a small dot at the end of the bottom point. And then again, like I said, just adding those little swirls and curls that are a little bit lighter really brought it all together. I know it's hard to see what I'm doing all the time, but I had to lean really close into the mirror. So then on the other eye, I did these same clown diamond things. This one turned out just the tiniest bit bigger, which I was okay with because it kind of offset the big piece going on the other eye. And then again, adding the little dots with the end of the paintbrush, and I added one on the top as well. So next, taking Makeup Geek single eyeshadow in the shade Mocha, we're going to start adding some shading. So I took a very small pencil brush, packed the color right next to the black, and then took a fluffy, clean blending brush and blended that out. And that just really helped with the shadow because the shadow would be darkest next to the object and then it would fade out. So I did this on both eyes. And then next, making the clown nose. So I used these same black water activated paints and actually I was really impressed with how nice my circle came out the first time. And then I just filled it in. So next, starting on the mouth, so I started with the U shape above my upper lip, and then I know this part cut out, but I thought I would include it so that you could see the curve on the end. So I created another U shape, curved it around, and then, like I said, it's just easier to see, but I actually really liked how the mouth turned out, and then I went over and darkened the edges, of course. So next, taking a white eyeshadow, this is MAC single eyeshadow in Blanc type, and I filled in the mouth as well as around the eyepiece. And this just, like I said, brought a little bit of definition. You could see a little bit of a contrast between my skin and the mouthpiece, but it wasn't anything super over dramatic. And I just packed it on till I got the desired opacity. So next, again, like I said, with those little lines, just add the little lines and curves around the mouth as well. This really brought it all together, kind of tied in the eyepiece along with the mouth. So again, taking the Makeup Geek Mocha eyeshadow and doing the same thing that we did on the diamonds of the eyes. So using a small brush, we are going to pack the color on closest to the black, and then going in with a clean blending brush, just blending that shadow out. And if you find that it got too dark in one spot and it's hard to blend out, just take a little bit of that foundation powder and pack it over top, and that'll help lighten it up. So next, taking my NYX white liquid liner, this part cut out a little bit, but I drew a half a semicircle on one side of my nose and then just added a small dot for the highlight on the nose. Then going back in with that water activated paint, I drew a teardrop tattoo on the right side of my eye. And then taking my gel paint, I use this for the mouth because I figured if you were drinking or anything, it might smudge easier. So I used the Inglott gel liner, and I just added the two little flicks up at the corner of the mouth. And then I outlined my lips in black gel liner. I'm sorry that I got so close to the mirror, it was hard to see this part. And then I took a black lipstick, this is from the Anastasia lip kit, and I placed this on the outer perimeter of my lips because we're going to make a black to a red ombre lip. So I placed it on the outer perimeter and brought it in at the corners of my mouth. Next, taking that same lip brush, I'm going to use the red lipstick from the Anastasia palette, and I'm going to blend this with the black that we just put on. So I'm going to overlap just the edges of each other so that we get that ombre look, and it kind of does the work for us. And lastly, I took my finger and the red lipstick shade, and I patted it in the middle center of my lid. That way it didn't the center of my lips, so it didn't mix as much. And I went back with the lip brush and just very gently blended that out, just so that we had the nice black to red ombre rather than black and then red. And I absolutely love the way that the lips turned out as well. So of course, we're not going to be anything in my Halloween videos without lashes. So I'm using the Koko Goddess lashes. And that is it for this look. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can be notified every day when I post a video for 31 days of Halloween. Also, a huge shout out to Quentin, who helped with the videography and the photography for this look. Go check out my Instagram for more pictures of this look. They're absolutely amazing. And we'll see you all tomorrow for day 4. Bye, everyone.